Suge Knight is a mythical figure.
The controversial CEO of Death Row Records, the most feared figure in all of hip-hop.
His size was intimidating.
Knight had been on probation for a 1992 assault on 2 aspiring rappers.
Also, I see a ruckus, and I just see, Cube, but Cube's throwing his fist. He wasn't punking out at all.
If you didn't know he got poked, then the conspiracy lives on.
Would you put it past Suge?
Think Ice Cube's just some loudmouth rapper. He proved otherwise real quick. Cube didn't roll with heavy security or fake tough talk. He threw hands in public when it came down to it. No stand-ins, no octosh, raw street energy.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Right.
I mean, terrified.
I know.
No. To death.
At one show, Cube stepped right up to Suge Knight like he was ready for war. And Suge wasn't just anyone, he was feared like a true boss villain in hip-hop. But Cube never flinched, not even a little. If he had a problem with you, he said it loud and raw. Folks used to claim Ice Cube was just acting tough, selling the gangster image for albums. But nah, he lived that life for real. No fake hustle, no pretending.
Was heavy on drugs, went around to my house and gave my mother some cockamamie story, so she gave him $20.
Cube might have made it out of the streets, but the scars still live in the stories he shares. One wild story shows he was never bluffing. A dude from his own block, strung out bad, pulled up to Cube's house and fed his mom a straight lie just to hustle a few dollars.
So mad, you violated me and my family. Me and my friends was going around the corner to kill him, and he wasn't home, so thank God.
She ended up giving him $20, and that set Cube off. He and his boy grabbed their straps and went hunting for the dude, pulling up right outside his spot.
We were young and we was mad, and we had a weapon, and it was gonna happen, so it would have been stupid, and I wouldn't be sitting here if it did happen.
They were heated and ready to move, but the dude wasn't even home. Cube later admitted that was a turning point, saying if he had been there, things could have ended different. His whole career, the Ice Cube we know today, might not even exist. That close.
We grew up in a pretty tough neighborhood, but nobody was tougher than my father, so it was a sense of security.
That's what kept Cube from getting swallowed up by the streets. While a lot of his homies had no guidance, Cube had his pops holding it down. His dad kept him grounded, kept him aiming higher than the block. Add in the shot music gave him, and Cube had just enough to break free.
You really see Suge and Ice Cube fight?
Also, I see a ruckus, and I just see, Cube, but Cube's throwing his fist. He wasn't punking out at all.
It gave him a way out when so many others got trapped. But don't get it twisted, just because Cube made it out doesn't mean he got soft. Not at all. That's why, even Suge Knight, that Suge had to step to Cube face to face. DJ Premier even told the story of how Cube and Suge almost went at it. And this wasn't some small-time run-in either, it happened right after Cube split from
You look at Suge Knight as an infection?
Well, Suge Knight is just evil, and that's what evil does.
And Suge was already stacking up a ruthless name in the streets and the industry. But Cube didn't budge. Premier said Cube stood solid, ready to swing if it came to that. And that moment says it all. Suge had the whole rap game nervous. He wasn't just talk, he rolled with real muscle, ran with certified gangsters, and pulled power moves that kept rappers second-guessing every word. Even Jerry Heller, one of the biggest names behind NWA, called Suge straight-up evil.
Your house was vandalized. Your life was threatened.
Right.
What were some of the incidents today? I mean, didn't you come home one time and found out your house was broken into?
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff missing, and on the wall was spray painted, on the mirror in one of the bedrooms was spray painted, "Payback's a motherfucker, Jerry," or "Payback's a bitch, Jerry." One of those.
And that wasn't just street chatter. When Dr. Dre was trying to break free from Ruthless Records, Suge pulled up with Mob James, his enforcer, and flat out demanded Dre's release. And Jerry Heller, he froze. Dude sat there stiff, like the life had been drained out of him. That's how real the pressure was. But what came after made it even darker. Not long after that standoff, Heller's own house got broken into.
I always felt that Suge had something to do with it.
That paranoia spread everywhere. Folks around Jerry said he was never the same after that. always looking over his shoulder, jumping at shadows, gripping that pistol like it was a lifeline. And that's exactly what Suge wanted. Fear. He didn't just flex muscle. He played mind games. If people thought twice before even saying his name, then his power was working. And in the industry back then, that fear carried more weight than any contract.
Issues. He disrespected Pomona. Me and him got into a head-up scrap. Spilled over to the new music seminar.
That move lit the fuse. Above the Law felt like Cube was stepping on their sound, biting their whole style, and they weren't quiet about it. Diss tracks started flying, interviews got messy, and the tension boiled over fast. Cube, though he wasn't ducking smoke, he clapped back on wax and in person, making it crystal clear he wasn't here to play copycat. The beef was real, and it set the stage for Cube's solo run showing everybody he could hold his own without NWA backing him.
We had an interview with LA Times. What signatures y'all music and everything. So like we talk about what we really was involved with or our colleague.
Cube was fresh out NWA, trying to stand tall solo, but Above the Law felt disrespected. They claimed he bit their style, and that lit the fuse. From Pomona to LA, the tension spread quick. It wasn't just about records, it was about pride, and Cube wasn't about to fold.
We're not like Ice Cube that went away to college and come back and act like this big time gangster in NWA, which at the time that's what he was. He was a dude that was really sharp with the pen. It's kind of a schoolboy, never hustled the street, never banged in the street.
That line cut deep. Cube wasn't just clowning, he was putting Pomona's whole rep on blast. It showed he wasn't rattled by KMG's words, he flipped it into a punchline. That slick response made it clear. If Above the Law kept poking, Cube was more than ready to keep firing back.
LA Times wanted to reply to that. On the interview, he said New Jack Pomona should only talk about the freeway because that's the only thing that's going through that mother.
Cold 187 knew exactly what Easy was talking about. That jab from Cube wasn't just a casual diss, it was a direct shot at the crew Easy had just signed. And Easy, being Easy, wasn't about to let it slide. He made it clear he wanted a response, pushing Above the Law to clap back and keep the Ruthless versus Cube tension alive.
Easy E called me. He said, "Hey man, did you get the LA Times?" I said, "No, man, you gotta see it." He laughing on the phone. He's a big joke, so he laughing. So I get it. I read the statement.
187 spotted him, and that was it, no hesitation. He stormed right up on Cube, heated and ready to throw down. Words flew first, sharp and heavy, but within seconds, it almost exploded into a full-blown fight. Security and folks backstage scrambled, trying to keep the two camps apart before things got ugly in front of everybody. Cube held his ground though, didn't flinch, just stared 187 down like he was daring him to swing. That Anaheim night could have easily turned into a war, but it got pulled back at the last second.
I called E back and said, "I'm the boy up." As soon as I said, "Oh, cuz, don't be tripping." I said, "Man." Real.
They squared up fast, no hesitation. Cube and 187 started swinging heavy, and in seconds the whole room was a mess. Crews jumped in, fists and shoves flying everywhere, until security had to storm through to break it apart.
So he come, me and meet up in the hallway, said, "What's up there?" She said, "Newspaper. You trying to play me like a buster or something?" I'm like, you. Dude, like I said, "What's happening? You want to get down?"
Both sides threw punches, but Cube didn't retreat at all. He stood his ground and made sure 187 didn't scare him. Things eventually settled, but the feud was far from over.
So he come back into my dressing room and say, "What's up?" As soon as he say, "What's up?" I give him to him, 2-piece hot wood. Boom, he fall through the door.
By then, Cube wasn't rolling solo anymore. After breaking away from NWA, he formed his own crew, DA Lynch Mob, and they weren't just focused on music and rhymes.
So Cube didn't back down either.
No, he didn't. He didn't back down. He got socked out, but he didn't back down. He got socked out, but he didn't back down.
These were straight-up soldiers, sharp, street-smart, and serious about their movement. So, when Above the Law ran into Cube Squad again, it was instantly on sight. This clash went down at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square during the 1990 New Music Seminar.
And when we get to New York, so all the stuff going around the seminar is like, "Oh yeah, the Lynch Mob here, and they got issues, whatever, right?"
Cube had stepped out to sit on a panel, but his crew was still holding it down. Tension lit up quick, words were exchanged, and before long,
we see each other going to a panel, right? And we face off right in the middle of the seminar, and we get out, and all hell broke loose.
Another wild fight broke out between DA, Lynch Mob, and Above the Law, and this one turned ugly fast. Just when it seemed like things were settling down, bam, a new beef started brewing. This time, it was with none other than Common.
Q was nowhere around. Nowhere around. He tore that whole floor up.
On September 27, 1994, a young MC named Common Sense dropped a track that shook the rap game. The song, I Used to Love HER, off his second album Resurrection, sounded like a love story at first, like he was confessing feelings for a woman. But the twist, that girl was hip-hop itself. The track was a sharp metaphor, breaking down how the culture had changed over time and, not for the better, Common said hiplift had lost its soul, gone commercial, and drifted away from its conscious roots. The East Coast crowd ate it up. After only giving him lukewarm love for his debut, Can I Borrow $1? Now they were fully rocking with him.
Created I Used to Love It in 1994. You know, it was a story that I could tell about the evolution of hip-hop and the stages that I seen hip-hop go from just the pure innocence to...
He talking about this girl that he was in love with. You know, she's supposed to be hip-hop, and he's so in love with her. But when she go out here, she get...
Lines like, when I was 10 years old, what I loved most. She had so much soul, had fans vibing heavy, locked in, and thinking deep. But as much as the track struck a chord with the hip-hop heads, not everybody was feeling it.
King T from the West Coast. And somebody said, yo, Cube dissed you on this song. So we playing the song, and I'm listening. I'm like, damn, this dissing me.
While folks out east praised the track as poetic genius, the West Coast took it another way. Many felt Common was throwing shade at their whole movement, the rise of gangster rap, the harder sound, and the shift in tone. Basically, everything Common was critiquing was exactly what the West Coast was pushing at the time.